What's up, guys? Welcome back to the RedPeak Media channel. My name is Kelvin Krupiak, and today I want to talk to you guys about some changes you need to make if you still want to take full advantage of Facebook advertising. Now, if you guys aren't up to date on what happened between Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, I'm going to have some links right down below in the description. Go catch up on that and then come back and finish watching this video. Essentially, one of the biggest changes happening is you have to alert visitors on your website now that you are tracking them, and you have to explicitly alert them with a pop-up or a drop-down. It can't just be something that's in your privacy policy. Every visitor who comes across your landing pages and even just your website in general has to be presented with the opportunity to accept the fact that you are tracking them. So what we're gonna do with this video is we're gonna jump into my computer and we're gonna recap some of these significant changes that you should be aware of. And we're also gonna go through how to set up a pop-up on your website so you can comply with those changes happening on Facebook. All right, guys, so here we are on the redpeak.com, and like I said, what we're gonna do is create a slide-in. That way you can alert visitors that you are tracking them, you are using cookies to store their data, because that is what you're gonna have to do if you wanna comply with Facebook's new privacy policy moving forward, privacy settings, whatever you wanna refer to it as. If you wanna take advantage of Facebook advertising, essentially if you have a pixel on whatever page it is that the user lands on, you have to alert them that you are tracking them. Now, what we're gonna do is actually make our way to the admin section of our WordPress dashboard. And here we are in my plugin section. These are all the current active plugins that I have. And the one we're gonna be taking a look at is called Hustle right here. So what you're gonna wanna do is go to Add New and then search for Hustle. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see it right here. A lot of good reviews on this plugin. So let's go ahead and click on that. And before you guys install the plugin itself, you can definitely review the features and everything you have access to. It's actually incredibly versatile. There's a lot of great functionality to this plugin. So let's go ahead and you would install it and then click on activate. And once the plugin is active, we're gonna make our way to the actual plugin itself. There will be an icon on the left-hand side of your screen now, that little AOK emoji right there next to Hustle. And here we go. So you guys can already see I've created my slide-in. Now again, not a pop-up, this is a slide-in. Let's go ahead and take a look at the one I've already created. And then I'm gonna walk you guys through exactly how I created this specific slide-in. So let's go ahead and preview. And here we go. So I actually don't have a button on here or anything like that because I couldn't create a button with the slide-in unless I had a page to redirect the user to. So I have something very simple here. I have heads up. By closing this slide-in and using the RedPeak Media website, you agree with our use of cookies. To learn more about our privacy policy and how we use your data, you can click the link at the bottom of the web page. So I always have the privacy policy linked at the bottom of every web page on my website. And if we close this, now I'm gonna copy the text I used here and we'll walk through from scratch how to create this exact slide-in. Now here we are in the dashboard specific to slide-ins, and what we're gonna do is click on create. Also, just a heads up, because this is a free plugin, after I created the first slide-in, I was actually getting prompted to upgrade to the paid version and it wouldn't let me create another one. I'm not sure if you're limited to creating just one slide-in or not, but just be prepared, you will be prompted because it's a free plugin. They're going to try and upsell you on the paid version. Now we'll start with the name, and I just titled mine Heads Up. And no, we are not gonna use titles because that just changes the design from what you saw completely. What we're actually gonna do is paste this all right in here. Now right away, you'll notice that the text is actually not visible here, and that's because the color is white. So if I go into the text section, you guys can actually see I've added a little bit of CSS. I really just wanted to make sure the font on the slide-in was consistent with my brand. So I've added this little section here as well as an end right there. So I will actually add this in the description down below if you want to copy this and just swap out whatever font you're using on your website. Now let's hop back over to visual, and what I did with heads up is I actually made this, I believe it was a heading 2, or maybe a heading 3 and bold. So there we go. Now let's scroll on down a little further. We don't need a featured image. We don't need a call to action button. Again, I did have this originally, but I'm gonna flip this on just to show you guys that I actually can't use the call to action button unless I'm adding another URL in here for the user to be directed to, either in a new tab completely or the current window they're browsing in. So we're gonna leave this off, and we're not gonna add an email collection module as well because again, that's not the objective of this slide-in. So we will save this, and then we'll continue on to the design section. Now, I switched the style over to minimal. I do use custom colors because again, I wanna make sure the color and the font are consistent with my branding. And as of right now, here's what this slide-in looks like. And that's great, it's totally functional for what we're going for, but I wanna customize this a little bit. So on the main background, I'm actually gonna change this over to the red that I usually use. We've got white, let's take a look at what that changed. There we go, so we wanna change the text over still a little bit. There we go, let's change this to white. Let's just make sure that was the title. There we go, so that's already looking a lot better. And the close button we do wanna do I believe red as well, or maybe white. Let's do that. There we go, so that makes it much more prominent. And we'll just change all of these over to white so there is no hover color. There we go, so that looks good as is. Now, I don't want one popping up from the center of the page here. I want it to be on the left-hand side of my page. And I'm also gonna have to manually adjust the sizing because I did notice that the slide-in didn't scale appropriately for mobile when I was testing it. So let's scroll on down. And featured image, we don't have to worry about that. Border, no. If you are comfortable with CSS, you do have the option to add custom CSS, so that is a pretty cool option. But for us, we're not worried about this at all, so let's move on forward. And here we go, display. So I want this to show site-wide. I'm not gonna add any specific rules right in here. And we want time to be the trigger. So I'm gonna switch this on, and I'm actually gonna bring this down to 4 seconds. You could go down to 3 if you want, doesn't really matter too much there. And then I do want these slide-in to be hidden after the user closes it out. We don't want them to be shown the slide-in again for every single page that they're on our website. So I'm actually gonna change this. Just for now, I'll just change it to 20 days. That's totally fine. And here's where I can select the position of my slide-in. So let's do the left-hand side. I'm gonna save this and then preview. Awesome, so there's that slide-in over there. We still need to adjust the width here because this is just too much screen space that this slide-in is taking up. So let's head on back to design. And now we'll scroll on down to the bottom and you guys will see custom slide-in size right here. We'll pop that open. We've got width and height currently set. I'm gonna change the width to, I want it to be 100. No, not 10,000. And the height, let's do 300 should be fine. Let's see what this looks like. No, that looks ridiculous. So let's do a 200 width, 300 height. This should work okay for mobile. If not, you guys can test it yourselves and play around with the sizing to make sure that it fits on mobile as well, because you are going to be getting a lot of traffic from mobile from your Facebook ads. So make sure that this doesn't take up the entirety of the screen itself and that there's still a way to actually exit the slide-in. And there you have it, guys. We'll go ahead and click on continue and make our way back to the final step of the slide-in. Scroll on down and click on finish. And we are done. Our slide-in is now live and it's going to be shown everywhere throughout the website. And there you have it, guys. That's just about everything you need to know. Remember that there's going to be links down below in the description with more detailed information if you're interested in that. Also, definitely take advantage of getting that pop-up up on your website very, very soon. There are plenty of free plugins that can help. The last thing I would want is for your Facebook ad campaigns to get derailed because you didn't comply with the changes Facebook's making moving forward. Which brings me to my closing point here before we end the video, and that's that I know there's a lot of business owners that are probably going to be hesitant when it comes to using Facebook advertising now. And I think that's a huge mistake. There is going to be some short-term fallout in terms of the ad revenue that Facebook is seeing from businesses, but it doesn't change how effective Facebook is as an advertising tool for business owners like yourself to reach potential customers. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna stop the video for today, guys. If you found it helpful, please do leave a like right down below and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below and I promise to get back to you. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.